And actually, statistics show in America that the worst time for adolescent misbehavior pertaining to things like drug use and poor choices with sexual health and this type of thing was actually at its peak in the 1990s. So,
Oh,
so
yeah.
I'm curious if that all came along with the schooling context of the UK at that time too, and how it affected the Muslims.
So by the 90s, we had moved to a very wealthy area of London, which was conservative, right? In fact, Margaret Thatcher was the was the MP for the area that I was in. I actually met her as well as a child. But that area, the only difference that I noticed in terms of values was people were a bit wealthier, and there were fewer people of ethnic minorities, you know. So I felt more out of place in that area, and people were not used to Muslims. They weren't used to visible Muslims anyway. And I'd started wearing the hijab from about the age of 10. I wanted to. My mum never even really pushed me to. I think I just wanted to be like her. And I think from a young age, I would notice the social ills in our community, you know, not in the Muslim community, I mean, in the wider society. So, for example, our next door neighbor, she was this single mother, a white lady, single mother, 2 kids. Her husband is like in and out of jail. And, you know, as you're growing up, you'd hear about this, and, you know, alcohol was involved and domestic violence. And she would sometimes stand there and just chat to my mum. I don't think my mum really understood most of what she was telling her. But as kids, we understood, right? Because obviously English was our first language. And I would just be quite, you know, shocked at what life was like for the average English person in some of these areas. And I think that gave me a mindset of what I call Muslim privilege. You know, we talk about white privilege, and we kind of people make out that, you know, white privilege is like ubiquitous, it's everywhere. It's like it gives people an edge over everyone else, and, you know, all of that kind of thing. I actually think a child that's brought up with Islam and who's awake and aware of what's, you know, the differences between people and the ills in society and how Islam remedies those, has a type of Muslim privilege, because you grow up with the mindset that my way of life and the way of life of my parents has the solutions. You know, we are like the dawa, like society is full of illnesses, and we've been given the solutions. So, and of course, you have Allah in your life, so you grow up with that feeling of having a safety net. So I think all of those kind of values that my mom would inculcate into us, impart to us through stories, through teaching us about the different Islamic mindset to have, you know, in different situations, gave us a sort of Muslim privilege. And I like to encourage parents to think of their kids like that, you know, not let them grow up with a victim mentality, but to actually give them that feeling that you're a Muslim, you know, you got Allah with you.